This week on Ask Dan Windows, we're going to talk about the Microsoft Band 2 worldwide availability, whether or not there'll be a dual SIM high-end Windows phone, and more. Stay tuned. Do you think Microsoft will release the upcoming flagships unlocked for those not on AT&T? So this question comes up often, and it's obviously going to be the big mystery until October 6th. Now, I am under the impression that AT&T is getting the Lumia 950. I have not heard about other US carriers. In fact, I think it's just AT&T. So the question is Microsoft going to sell these unlocked? I don't know for sure, but I can't see why they would not do this. We know for a fact, or at least pretty sure, that these phones have the newest Snapdragon radios in them, which should work across all networks. So when you have that single radio in there, there's no reason why Microsoft should not sell these. Microsoft also has their Microsoft Store online and the Microsoft physical stores, and it makes sense that they would sell these direct. After all, they do want to get them in as many people's hands as possible. So I would bet on it, but a lot of details need to be filled in, and so you just have to wait until October 6th. Do you have an idea if the live tiles on Windows 10 Mobile will get a refresh? Or will they remain as they are in Windows Phone 8.1? So we've been expecting Microsoft to revise the tiles now for some time, and we've heard about the exploding live tiles that were supposed to come with McLaren. But since then, we haven't heard too much more information. And from what I understand, at least for right now, Windows 10 Mobile will remain the same. Now, there are some subtle changes with Windows 10 Mobile in comparison to Windows Phone 8.1, so you can continue to expect those. For instance, there are thinner margins between the two tiles, and they have obviously more columns available. But I do expect Microsoft to continue to evolve this, but we probably won't see anything until next year, possibly with the Redstone release for Windows 10 and Windows 10 Mobile. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what Microsoft does, but my hunch is they are going to continue to evolve these, and we may see finally actionable notifications within the tile themselves and sort of more elaborate schemes, but we'll just have to wait and see. Have you heard any information whether Microsoft will ship its rumored Band 2 worldwide and not just to the US and UK markets? So I've already answered this question on an earlier Ask Dan episode, but I'd like to reiterate. Yes, the Band 2 is going to go to more countries besides US and UK. In fact, it should go to all the Surface countries on initial release. Now, there may be a few weeks difference between those, but that is the plan. And the reason for that is I believe Microsoft Band 2, they feel a lot more confident about, and they think it's going to sell well. They've obviously got a lot of feedback from the first generation, which I still will say is a prototype device. And the Band 2 should be available in wider markets. Now, there are about, I think, 26 or 27 Surface countries, so that's a big swath out there. Hopefully, it'll get to other countries as well, but yes, I would anticipate that. Is Microsoft going to support Windows Phone 8.1 after Windows 10 Mobile is out? And can Microsoft's upcoming flagship phones be flashed back to Windows Phone 8.1 GDR2? So when we talk about continued support, there's sort of two ways of doing this. Will they actually support it in case something breaks? Yes, they will. Are they going to add new features to 8.1? My hunch is no. I don't think they're going to continue development with 8.1 as all efforts are on Windows 10 Mobile. Now, some people have questions about this and why Microsoft would do that, and it's just about resources. All their developers are focused on Windows 10 Mobile, and you simply can't allocate people for an operating system that they now consider outdated. So I would expect a continued support of 8.1, but no new features. Regarding the flagships and whether or not they can be flashed back to 8.1, I'm sure on a technical level, maybe they could, but no, I do not expect that to be available to users. There's going to be a lot of APIs and drivers that would need to be done to make that happen, and I just don't see it as something that they're going to put a lot of effort into. That doesn't stop hackers from trying it, but no, I wouldn't expect any official solution for that. Do you think there will ever be a high-end dual SIM Windows 10 device? So actually this question is pretty simple. Yes, these flagship phones will be available in dual SIM. Now I'm not 100% sure if it's going to be both the 950 and the 950 XL, but I do have confirmation that there will be a dual SIM device, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be at least the 950 and hopefully the 950 XL as well, but do expect that to happen. Will you change your current Windows Phone to a new one, and which would be your choice, 950 or 950 XL? This is always a tough question to answer as I'm kind of mixed. So the 950 and 950 XL are basically the same phone. What we're talking about here though is going to be different in screen size, a 5.2 inch versus a 5.7. Now I already carry a Lumia 1520 around and I happen to enjoy it a lot. However, I also appreciate smaller displays. And so it's a tough question. Now I'm in an unfair position here. I actually will probably have both phones at my disposal, probably because I'll get review devices direct from Microsoft. And because they're SIM devices, I'll be able to switch them as I go along. So I'm not really sure which one I'll prefer. I do tend to lean towards the larger screen devices, but I'll have to actually wait and see how big the 950 XL is. Now, I've actually heard from my sources who have handled these devices, the 950 XL is actually pretty slim and small bezeled. I know some of you are going to laugh at that. I'm not necessarily talking about the top part, but I'm talking overall the profile design of this phone is relatively small. And that bodes well for me putting it in my pocket, which is really going to be the big test here, or whether or not I can carry the 950 XL as my daily driver. Heard any rumors about the possibility to flash Windows 10 Mobile onto the Surface RT or Surface 2? How likely do you think that is? I have not heard any rumors about this, and I wouldn't expect an official solution to come forth. Having said that, Microsoft has been pretty clear that Windows 10 Mobile will go on devices with 7-inch displays or smaller, and that includes tablets. So once again, this may be up to the hacker community who can figure out a way to flash it onto a Surface 2 or Surface RT, but there are a lot of complications there, and I'm not too sure that the community is going to pick up on it. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. With Microsoft putting Cortana and Office and Skype on other platforms, what benefits are there to sticking with Windows Phone? All right, so this one's actually kind of tough to answer. There's a lot to unpack here. So what is the benefit for using a Windows 10 mobile device? All right, part of it's going to be the hardware itself, and it's going to be partial to whether or not you actually like the Lumia 950 and 950 XL. Now don't forget, these will have an iris scanner on board, which is kind of cool. They're going to have really nice cameras. We're talking 20 megapixel pure view, and that's not the same camera that's in the Lumia 930. This is an updated version, new optical image stabilization, new flash on board, so there's going to be a lot there to take a look at on day one. So that's going to be part of the question. Do you just like the hardware? When it comes to the software and services, Microsoft has been pretty clear that they plan to have Windows 10 Mobile as being their device-first system for their services. That remains to be seen, of course. Right now, Android and iOS do have an advantage when it comes to, say, Skype and even OneDrive applications and some other services. Can Microsoft catch up onto their own platform? That remains to be seen. And don't forget, they have the benefit of being able to integrate this stuff. For instance, I run Cortana on Android, and it's pretty great. It's not the same though as running it on Windows 10 Mobile, because you have that search button that allows you to easily access it. You can do this on Android with the double tap, and it's a little bit configurable, but it feels more natural on Windows 10 Mobile. You also have Cortana hooking into email and other services. That's something that can't be done right now on Android. So there will be benefits long run for using Windows 10 Mobile and Microsoft services, but it is up to Microsoft to actually prove they can do that. The next few months are going to be very crucial to see if Microsoft can make their services the premier experience on their own Windows 10 mobile devices. Is there any indication that Microsoft would implement some sort of phone purchase program similar to Apple and Samsung? So this refers to Apple's recent announcement that they're going to not only sell phones direct to consumers, but also offer a finance plan. Now, to be clear, this finance plan doesn't even go through Apple. You're basically taking a loan through a third-party bank. So it's not the perfect plan here, but for people who want to upgrade on a yearly basis, which we're seeing more and more of, it does offer a solution. That is, you can buy the phone, finance it, and then trade it in after a year. Of course, you do have to trade it in. You don't get to keep it and resell that phone. So there are downsides here. The question is, will Microsoft do the same? I have not heard that they are going to do that, but once again, they have the infrastructure to do this. And being that Samsung quickly turned around and announced they're going to do the same, I would think Microsoft will get on board as well. After all, they're going to sell their phones direct to consumers through their store online and in physical stores. So they do have the infrastructure to do this, and I think they will in the long term. So that does it for this week's episode. Remember, if you have a question, use hashtag AskDanWindows on Twitter, or use our email, askdan@windowscentral.com, and maybe we'll pick yours for next week's episode. Thanks for watching. Take care.